God, this is gonna be a week, because normally when I'm introducing, I write up some notes. But since we're doing this in person, I didn't want to have my computer in front of me, and I thought to myself, I can just ad-lib this. Here we fucking go!
Have fun!
Welcome all, because I'm sure Chris kept that in, because why not? Welcome to another episode of A Star to Steer Her By, your favorite Star Trek podcast, after the Delta Flyers, which I've been listening to quite a lot. It's very cute. Actually, I realize we have to stop making Wang jokes, because that is not how Garrett Wong pronounces his name.
Oh shit, really?
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least we found out faster than we did about poor Colomini.
I know! Or Nana Visitor.
Have we been making a lot of Wang jokes? I don't think we have.
There have definitely been Wang jokes.
That would definitely be out of fucking character for us.
There was definitely at least one.
Maybe.
You're right, we mostly make poop jokes.
Yeah, poop jokes better than racist jokes.
We'll find more things to make horrible jokes about.
Oh, I don't know if he meant, like, racist jokes, just like the fact that Wang means dick.
Yeah, but if it's a dude's name, it's kind of...
Anyway.
I guess that's true.
This got weird. I lost track of what I've said so far.
Jake's fault as usual.
Who are you?
Yeah, speaking of Jake, who are the rest of us? Well, this is Ames.
This is Caitlin.
This is Wong.
Wow.
Jesus Christ, this is Chris.
Good, thank you, Chris. Thank you for bringing it back. And we're on episode 252
Woo!
of A Star to Steer Her By. Hot dog. We're still covering the Voyager, hanging out in the Delta Quadrant, doing all the things. This week, our episodes that we are covering are Deadlock and Innocence.
Ugh.
Innocence is actually a very highly rated episode.
Not surprised.
It's going to be a fun discussion for us, the kind of people who hate that kind of episode. But let's talk Deadlock first.
Yes.
Deadlock is so fucking fun. Except for the beginning. The beginning starts with Samantha Wildman whelping Naomi Wildman in the middle of some kind of weird thing that's happening with the ship. So she's busy whelping. The ship goes into this plasma something or other.
Yep.
To hide from Vidiians, who are always the fucking worst.
Yep.
God damn it, Vidiians.
Except when the doctor's banging one.
Except for that one Vidiian whom we liked. She was fine.
Well, it's because she wasn't a creepy, gross scavenger. She was a doctor who was trying to figure the shit out.
Yeah, she represents a very small faction of not awful Vidiians.
I don't know. They probably all gotta go.
Oh, yeah, they definitely all gotta go.
So, whilst we're hiding in the area from the Vidiians, the ship just basically starts kerploding a whole lot.
So much.
Ensign Kim goes to try to patch up some hull breach and gets ripped into space.
He pulls a Kirk, but there's no Nexus there to catch him.
Oh no! That would be good. Actually, I realized in one of my books that I've been reading, it says like several times like, this is a ripoff of Aliens. And I'm like, is it? It seems like a fairly common way to die in space.
Yeah, that's fucking stupid.
The writer of this book is not the most objective person.
Clearly.
Yeah,
the only other thing that's seen aside from Star Trek apparently is Aliens.
It might be.
And even missed some episodes of Star Trek, apparently.
Doesn't watch any other Star Trek. We watch lots of Star Trek. And the other stuff that happens in this episode are... Okay, so Kim horribly dies. The baby doesn't make it because we had to transport it out of the mother because it grew these little head fangs.
Oh, God.
That sounds like the least biological advantageous thing in the fucking world.
And apparently it got caught on her uterus and was gonna tear her in fucking half.
I know.
And also, bonus, afterwards we find out that those little shits develop fangs really early on, so it's not safe to fucking nurse them for long, and these fucking babies sound horrible, and this fucking whole episode needed a trigger warning, because I was pained.
We should have left this thing on the planet with Paris and Janeway's lizard children. God damn it. Alright, so that's still all the first 5 minutes of the episode. This is what happens when I don't take an outline to follow.
You summarize like me.
Yeah, everything's going horribly. They abandon the bridge because another breach is occurring. And suddenly we see these flickers and we flip over to the Voyager, which looks perfectly fine. We see kind of a glimpse of 2 Janeways.
What?
Which is my favorite number of Janeways.
Is it?
And Janeway, who hasn't been through hell yet, is like, Wonder what that is. We'll figure this out. They go
I
down.
look like hell.
We go down to sick bay. This baby is perfectly alive and okay. Neat. And also, there's a spare Kess running around, because this is one that, like, somehow went through the corridor that connects 2 different Voyagers, people. Follow me with this one here, because apparently this plasma thing we're hiding in duplicated all the matter in Voyager, but not the antimatter, because that's the opposite. So we have 2 ships occupying the same space on different phases, kind of like we did in the next phase a little bit, but they're using the same antimatter, so they're not going to survive very fast. Plus, one of them has been destroyed a whole lot, so they're trying to figure out, okay,
But that's the one we're gonna save.
Can we-
really fucked up one?
can we smash our matter back together? And they're trying, and we're having a lot of Janeway talking to herself, which is very fun.
Mm-hmm.
And Torres talking to herself, which we've seen her do an awful lot in this show so far.
So much.
And they try something, and it fails utterly, and they realize this is going even more poorly than most weeks. See my description right now. Let's just maybe self-destruct the shittier ship. That's a terrible idea! Oh my god! Janeway! What's wrong with you? Why won't you listen to Janeway? She's the logical one! And they realize, okay, maybe this is what we're going to have to do, when suddenly, Vidiians! We forgot about them! They've been here the whole time, and they can only see one version of the Voyager. And it happens to be the not fucked up version. And the most fucking terrifying thing starts happening, because like 300-something Vidiians swarm the ship and just start harvesting.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, oh wow, yeah, these people are actually the worst. They're so the worst.
The worst.
Not fucked up Janeway sets her ship to self-destruct now because she got the idea from the other one. So she thought of it. 1 + 2 + 1 plus
That's exactly what I was thinking.
several fucking Janeways. So she says, okay, well, we'll self-destruct the ship so that the Vidiians don't see the spare Voyager, and then that one, even though it's incredibly fucked up, they'll fix it. It'll be fine. Let's send over our spare Kim with a spare baby, maybe a couple of Neelix lungs for fun, over to the other ship through this magical space corridor, so that, you know, we can still have Garrett Wang on the show. So they do that, and Janeway, in classic badass form, self-destructs the ship in front of these Vidiians, and it's hardcore.
Mm-hmm.
And she even gets a little zinger off. Welcome to the bridge, gentlemen. Or whatever the fuck she said.
Love it. Love it so much. Yeah, so back on the other Voyager, Vidiians are gone because they've been exploded. The other Voyager is no problem anymore, so we can have all the antimatter to ourselves. And Garrett Wang, Harry Kim, is having all of the existential crises, the end.
He really, really is the O'Brien of this series.
Yeah! We've killed him twice so far.
Like, I just
We've
feel
only
like...
killed everyone else once now.
Yeah. Like, I just feel like, you know, if he gets back to the Alpha Quadrant, him and O'Brien need to sit down and have a support group.
Mm-hmm.
Just the two of them. Because I don't think anyone else in Star Trek
No one will understand.
has had quite these experiences.
Mostly it's about being overlooked for promotions.
Aww.
Well, the thing is, the Chief is already at the highest rank he can have as an enlisted man, so...
He could always become a super chief.
He's super chiefy.
Super chief. Yes, I love Ames.
I thought the same thing, but you said it faster, so we all wavelengthed.
White cat.
Yeah, man, this one.
It's fascinating.
It's
I
interesting.
follow none of it, but I'm still engorged. Nope,
Oh,
engorged.
wow!
Very wrong word.
It's okay. Engrossed.
Engrossed is the correct word.
Boy.
It's okay, white cat.
Speaking of engorged,
Scared of
Janeway
cat,
got
right?
to meet herself.
Whoa, we know what happens when that happens.
Okay, but here's the thing, like, I understand that they had to put them sort of in, like, weird angles because putting a cut down the screen and making them talk to each other, but it looked like they were about to lean in and kiss. Like, I was like, are you guys gonna kiss? And Chris was like, that's disgusting. And I was like, yeah, but, I mean, it looks like she's legit, like, angled so that she's just gonna go straight for the kissing.
And they're, like, 4 inches from each other's
yeah,
faces.
it was, like, really
Yeah, no,
intimate. Like,
I don't know.
What if we blow up Enterprise? What do you think about that? What if we blow it up? Like, I don't know, it feels like if they were gonna start necking.
The Voyager.
What did I say?
Enterprise.
Fuck! I meant the Voyager.
You said Voyager. It's the Voyager.
The Voyager, sorry.
Being fair, I didn't say it was gross because you said it looks like a kiss. I think you said, now kiss.
Oh, 'cause
Whatever.
Kissing is the thing that's gross.
Well, like kissing yourself. It's just if that's not the
Touch
ultimate incest, I don't know what is.
Mwah. I just kissed myself. I hope you're disgusted.
You know what I
We
bloody
can't-
mean.
You know what I
Can't
mean.
put that on the podcast.
That's too much.
No, I know Kate Mulgrew, because acting across from yourself is very difficult.
Mm,
Because
Yeah.
you're not there.
No.
Yeah.
You're
no.
acting apart from maybe a double, but you have to make sure you know that either the double has to be exactly your specifications, but also you have to be like tracking exactly where you are the entire time within centimeters, so that it ends up looking right on the screen.
Yeah.
I would like it for it to have been Picardo in a wig standing in for her in those scenes.
It might have been. Yeah, but she called this, quote, the most arduous and possibly the most satisfying work I've ever done, technically.
Wow.
She did a great job.
Janeway, really eager to blow up the ship.
Yeah, and nobody. It was interesting that nobody else really seemed to be that upset about it.
Yeah, they were like, yeah.
I think it was, well, there's a spare, so it
Yeah,
doesn't
but
count.
still, I don't know though. I still think if I were about to get blowed up, even knowing that there was another me to carry on would not make that any better.
I mean, I can't speak to the experiences of the fucked up Voyager, but on the one that ultimately is blown up, if my options are presumably pretty quick and painless kerplosion versus harvested by those Vidiian fucks,
And you get to take a whole bunch of them out with you.
yeah, I'll take that.
Yeah, but I might be like, hey, can I go through that rift too?
How many Janeways can your ship use?
They did say
All
something
of them.
like,
Maybe some more medical staff, please.
they did say 4 or 5 could go through before it would like destabilize something. Technobabble.
Oh, yeah.
So-
what did they say? There was something. It
Yeah,
was like
so they
the-
could have sent upwards of 5, it sounds like. I don't know if the baby counts as a full one. Like, I don't know if maybe you could send a baby and somebody who was kind of short and it would just count as one.
You could send 3 babies.
They should have sent Neelix over and had 2 Neelixes on Voyager.
See, I think they should have sent the second Kess over, because then there'd be a Kess for Paris and a Kess for the Doctor, and Neelix can go fuck himself.
And then you could say, now Cass.
No.
Oh, god damn it.
What?
Now, Kess.
No kiss.
Oh,
Although,
Gross.
joking aside, I mean, it would be more help in sickbay.
Well, I was saying that at this episode anyway, wasn't
Yeah.
I? Like, I was like, wow, everyone's dead. It would be nice to have, like, I don't know, a fucking crew. I love it when the Doctor's, like, going through, like, oh, she has, like, a broken cranium. She can wait. Oh, but this guy's spine is fused. Get him into surgery. It's like, I mean, I get that that's serious, but it's just like, oh, broken skull?
It was a collarbone.
Oh, well, that's...
Which hurts like a mother, but...
Then she can wait. Fuck her.
Yeah.
Well, in this situation, that's the thing. That's how you know it's bad. If, like, busted collarbone is you can wait.
Yeah, he needs more people.
The
Bad.
Why can't they just have, like, 6 of him? Is there
That's
any
what I
reason why they
said.
can't?
He's like, I think it takes a lot of computer energy to run. Just
Yeah,
this
they
program.
can't get the newest 1030X because of all the fucking crypto miners.
There you
Can
go.
we just have a bunch of medical support in the holodeck and just have a bunch of holo nurses?
Mm.
That's the thing. Like, even if they can't necessarily be as advanced as the Doctor, there's really no good reason they couldn't be.
Mm.
I'm sure
Just
they
having
could.
a couple extra pair of
Yeah.
holo hands would be good.
I've been saying that since
You
day
have, yeah.
one. You know, like
He should be able to sprout.
Oh, I meant hands attached to other hollow people, but
even
more hands on
you
the
could just
doctor,
have the
sure.
Doctor with like octopus
Ooh,
tentacles.
how
Yeah.
many heads?
He doesn't even need one head really, because the sensors could just tell him what's going on.
Stop, I can only get so erect.
But you were
Sorry,
quite
I can only get so
engorged.
That's the thing, really. He could, like I said, I think if it wasn't for the fact that it's a consumer product, he could totally just be like a consciousness and a shitload of flying hands.
One of the tentacle monsters
Where'd
from
some
Galaxy Quest.
some what you call them? The fuck? Cat.
One cat ran by, and then you
was I
heard a
saying?
hiss.
Oh, exocomps. Why not some
Yeah,
exocomp
exocomps.
doctors?
Well, see, they have to choose to go to medical school.
That's what isn't it?
Exodocs.
Didn't Darth Vader have an exocomp doctor, and that he was interrogating Princess Leia with?
He had an interrogation droid. I don't think he was technically a doctor.
I had a
Are
needle.
you thinking about the nose job and Spaceballs?
No, the thing that came was like whoa, whoa, whoa.
Yeah,
whoa,
that was the interrogation
Yeah,
droid.
he had a
remember?
horrifying needle, it's true.
Yeah,
Is that supposed to be like a truth serum? What do we think that needle was? Or was that
Probably,
just
yeah.
for pain?
Yeah, probably.
It was antibiotics.
Oof. Yeah, keep him alive longer so you can torture him more.
Also the
Speaking-
gonorrhea.
Speaking of the Doctor and things the Doctor should have done this episode, trank the fucking baby when the Vidiians are 2 feet away.
Good point.
Because when every time the baby's like making a little crying noise, it's like you're gonna get this baby found out, and then these people are going to rip it to pieces.
Well, and also he was shaking it kind of voraciously. I was like, shouldn't you know that you're not supposed to shake babies?
He was rocking it. He just
for that matter,
miscalibrated.
Trank the baby when Kes is trying to sleep over here, and you're like, just get some rest. Meanwhile, the baby's over there crying. It's like, how?
God damn, why don't we just trank the baby for the first 2 years of life?
Oh my god,
or more.
Brilliant.
I was just like, when, she was first giving birth, I was like, why aren't they just transporting it out?
Ugh.
And then finally they do, and apparently their hand wave is like, well, it can cause complications. It's like, yeah, whatever.
Well, and it did.
Also, like, I really hope by the fucking 24th century people have snapped out of this, like, I don't know, all-natural surprise bullshit. Like, I thought it was going to be... You really didn't let yourself find out earlier. Like, what's it fucking matter?
You were pregnant for a very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't want to know, which is, I'm sorry, stupid already.
Who gives a shit anyway, right?
Like,
they won't know what gender it is for a long time no matter what, right?
Well, I was just going to say, by the 24th century or whatever, that idea may have been even more accepted, which means that it's really completely irrelevant.
Yeah,
the only relevancy would be like in terms of medical stuff.
Yeah.
Which the doctor knows, right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I just like, I don't know.
That's
also,
true,
like,
actually, because they could probably see it on ultrasound. That's how they see it, isn't it?
Yeah,
I'm sure the
Whether it
doctor
has, like,
just
a
sticks his
PP or
whole
not.
face into her belly and just looks.
Oh, the belly, good.
I'm
Thank
glad
Christ.
that you said belly, because I was also a little bit like, where are we going with this?
But
I guess he could make his head really small too. Just do.
Well, yeah, I mean, if we were talking about the doctor that doesn't really need a head, his head could just be whatever one of those little camera things.
Yeah, just a little endoscope doctor.
That's it,
It's
endoscope.
going
Thank
every
you.
horrible place.
Yeah,
Yes,
but also,
that's where the doctor's going. Every horrible place.
But also, you
Time
really,
for your colonoscopy.
with his endoscopic head.
Still going.
Let's write this show.
but also, like, you really think in a case like this, where they know this exact complication could happen.
Oh, with the head spikes?
It would have been like, you have to do a C-section.
You kind of do. Like, even if it didn't, like, move in whatever way it moved, those spikes are not coming out of there.
Yeah, no, like, it's just...
Yeah, what did they say that it went breach? Because
Well, it didn't even go breach. It moved a little, and because of that, it's fucking rigid.
Maybe that species is supposed to breach.
No, it would make more sense if they were supposed to go head first, because the spikes were kind of backwards, weren't
So
they?
here's
Facing
what's
up. If they went head
Oh,
first,
you're right.
it would be like
have to go backwards.
the real problem here
Ow.
is that he mentions that species normally has scales and such. It sounds like they're lizard-like, which means in reality, that species should give birth via
Yeah, I was gonna say,
egg
that's an egg
and
baby.
shouldn't be compatible with humans.
The real problem is these are supposed to be Katarians. We've met a Katarian before. It was that woman that Riker was fucking in the game who gave us the toy.
No
and she
spikes.
did not have head spikes.
Well,
Or
maybe
any
the spike-
scales.
Let's consider Saru lost his what's-its?
Mm-hmm.
What are they called? You know, these things.
Ganglia there.
Ganglia. So maybe the mature female adult, whatever this thing is, loses its spikes
Well, I happen
in
to
adolescence or something.
I happen to know we see an older Katarian and the spikes are back. So
Well, maybe she had hers removed. Maybe she lost them in Vietnam. You don't know.
Anyway, let's talk about stuff
Well,
other
hold on,
than...
though. But didn't we also once eat Katarian eggs? Further complicating things?
As an omelet?
I
Were those the omelet?
I don't know.
Was that the omelet that Riker
I know
made?
those were scrambled eggs.
Katarian
I
eggs
know.
have been talked about before.
Yeah, but
Interesting.
that could be eggs from Kataria, not,
Would you call
Well, no,
chicken eggs human eggs?
I would not, but I might call them
but
Earth
no,
eggs.
I was gonna say, but you might call them Earth eggs.
Because
we're
I'm
like,
sh-
we're like the only species in the show that isn't called whatever their planet.
Yeah, our
a name
planet-
derived from the planet.
Our planet should be called human, but it isn't.
Or
well, we should be called Terrans.
True. Or Earthers.
which I like. But no, not that. Comes too close.
Terran really only works though if for
Flat
like
earthers.
Oh, I think
for
because I
like
say Earthers a lot.
Latin
Oh.
based
Terran.
languages, right? Like,
Yeah, that's true.
Like most of the population wouldn't
Yeah.
agree with that.
But, I mean, Starfleet is America, so.
That's true.
Anyway, enough about that fucking baby and all the medical bullshit, because there's more interesting things happening in this episode.
Lots.
don't remember anything interesting happening this episode, so go ahead and tell me what you thought was interesting
I
about
thought
it.
so much was interesting in this episode, but I'll let Chris start.
I mean, you definitely have to, like, just accept up front that, like, this is... The science is weird, just go with it.
Become engorged with it. Oh, engrossed.
Yes. But just, like... You know, I guess the one thing I sort of wish is that they'd figured out earlier on what was happening, and maybe we could have seen more interaction between the two ships, but the eventual... Well, no, I think there was enough. Yeah.
See, I know the writers...
Less time on the baby.
The writers were really happy with the fact that you're watching an episode, and... it's so fast-paced.
Yeah.
Like, it ended up running very short because the pacing was just so fast. Like, the first 2 chapters, or whatever they call them.
Acts.
The first 2 acts of the episode fly fucking by.
That's true.
Because it's just action. We've
tight.
killed Harry Kim. Cass has vanished. This has happened. Abandon the bridge. Oh my god.
Yeah.
So much happened that they had to, like, frantically write new scenes to add in places.
Yeah, I guess it did work out pretty well.
And then the fact that they say, you think you're watching an episode about this crisis the ship is having, and then we twist ya.
Yeah.
Good twist.
Yeah. Yeah, the fact that they were the cause of their own crisis.
It's a little... Not Time and Again, the other one. There was another one where there was a duplicate ship thing happening.
Oh.
The one where Voyager was moving towards the exit and the other Voyager was not moving towards the exit.
Oh, that one. I thought you were talking about,
I don't know, Ingress? It was some stupid word, one word type of thing.
I thought you were talking about either Dumb Picard or the Bozeman one. That's not a duplicate, that is a time loop.
I like that B'Elanna employed the time-tested tactic of, if there's a strange hole, toss something into it.
The TTT.
Yeah.
Triple T. Time-tested tactic.
The triple T. I mean, it's every engineer knows. It's like, there's a strange hole. Let me pick up a piece of random stuff and toss it in. And then we can listen for how long it takes to hit the bottom.
Someone on the other side. Ow!
I mean, the thing is, I that does feel like, very, just feel like proper engineers do. Just kind of like,
I would have poked my head in.
Yeah, I love the continuity that then they say later on the last fucked up ship. We found this Cass, and then we found this piece of trash. What were they doing there?
Yeah.
This trash is very important. Because it was.
So, Harry Kim was killed.
Whoopsie.
Presumably now, there's, so Harry Kim lives. Long live Harry Kim.
But there's also a frozen-ass corpse.
There's a corpse of Harry Kim
I said the same
also
thing.
floating around that, like, in some distant time, someone's going to be tooling around and be like, I picked up something on sensors. Smells like manure. What's going on?
It's got a comm badge, a working comm badge on it.
Oh, man, that'd be a great way to get him to guest on Discovery.
Have them pick him up from
no.
1,000 years in the future.
They're able to revive him. The reason he looks older has something to do with the fact that he was just out in space for so long, all frozen.
Oh, no.
That
But,
sounds right, yeah.
But yeah, it's like... I had joked that Janeway circled back and picked it up just to make other Harry look at it to fuck with him.
Oh, God.
But, so yeah, like Harry, big existential crisis. And meanwhile, I feel like Wildman's just gonna pretend this never happened and not consider the fact that this is her weird time duplicate baby.
It's the only way that she can stay sane.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I mean, she's also here, separated by, many, many areas of quadrant between her and her husband. I'm sure that's also, like, a big, sad thing.
Think she ever tells him? Assuming they get back, blah, blah, blah.
I mean, I'm imagining that they would still memorialize the dead baby.
Oh, yeah.
And treat it like a twin or something where one didn't make it. That's how I would imagine.
So do they have a memorial for the other
She becomes one
Harry?
of those fucking people on Facebook that's like, Mommy of 2, 1 in heaven.
It's really gonna fuck with the girl as she grows up. It's like, yeah.
Don't tell her. Never tell her.
Yeah, she can't know.
Oh, it's like one of
You
the...
had a kind of twin sister that died.
Here's the thing, that's the plan, but it's one of the first stories Neelix tells her once she's old enough to comprehend stories in probably a season.
I know we're back on the baby. One more thing about Samantha Wildman that made me a little bit cross. We start the episode with Neelix in the kitchen who needs something because something in his oven isn't working.
Yeah.
And he immediately asks Samantha Wildman, xenobiologist, because this has been established when we first met her, that she is a xenobiologist. Hey, help me with this engineering problem in the kitchen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, why?
Also, she's fucking 9,000 weeks, months, whatever, 12 months pregnant, Neelix. You fucking ass.
That was my thought, though. It's like, she's a blue shirt. I don't remember what she is, but she's not an engineer.
Well,
And even if she
kind
is,
of a dope.
you don't need to get her down on the ground looking into the fucking, trying to find out what's wrong
Neelix
with
has
your
a
bullshit.
pregnant lady fetish and just wanted to
Does he?
see her work. I don't know.
Weird.
You never know.
But yeah.
He got really
so-
excited when Kess's hands got sticky, so...
But
I thought
yeah.
it was usually the other way around.
It's just a side effect of, like, you know, Star Trek often follows the bad rule of a lot of fiction, where no matter what your field of science is, if you're a scientist, you kind of know all science.
Well, that's kind of how Janeway is, right? Like she seems to be an expert in almost every area of science, it seems.
That's true.
Yeah, she knew about the whatever experiment happened in which they did do some duplicating of matter.
Yeah.
And that's how she knew that antimatter doesn't duplicate in that way.
And she suggested the photon pulse?
Sure.
Whatever the pulse is that caused the disaster.
Also, now that we know that matter can be duplicated, and not just like in this weird, bizarre area of space they're in, but apparently they've done it on Earth at Kent State. Like, that seems pretty significant. Like, we can just duplicate shit. Straight
People.
up.
We can duplicate people.
Well,
Exact
here's the thing.
copies.
They already can through the magic of the transporter.
Yeah, but
That's
all
true.
that takes some sophisticated. You need like an ion storm or something. You know, you need
Well,
some
this is
serious.
a plasma
the
cloud.
plot really needs to calm down. That's what he's
But
saying.
it sounds like
Exactly.
they just have laboratory conditions where they can just make copies of shit.
Yeah, but it was not stable or something or blah blah. I don't know. It's still a ways off before they can really do anything with it.
But yeah. Tis upsetting, the deaths. And this points to one of my recurring peeves with Voyager is this is a major fucking traumatic thing.
Mhm.
Not just for Harry and for Wildman, but for the entire crew. And the ship. The ship is practically gotten destroyed.
Yeah.
So they're all going into the holodeck to talk to Sigmund Freud. We've done this
Yeah,
before.
but in the next episode, there's no mention of the ship's perfectly fine.
Well, because it could have been 6 months later. I mean,
Harry's okay.
It's not 6 months later. It's shortly thereafter.
How do we know?
Well, and that's the thing though, is Harry does seem to be the only one who's just kind of like, so this is weird, right? We can all agree this is weird, and Jane was just like, it's part of the job. He's like, no, but really though, this is fucking bonkers.
Like, remember at the beginning of the series when they were running out of gas and like there was like a couple episodes where they were looking for gas.
Yeah.
Like, there's another opportunity to do a story like that here now because we've established that half the antimatter is apparently gone now.
Yeah, but
So that's something they could be on the lookout for.
yeah, but you know, we already said how like they chickened out on real continuity with this one.
I know, and it's upsetting to me. I think
Although
there's
being-
missed opportunities.
Being fair, even if we look at say TNG, with the exception of that one time where Picard went back home to be upset about having been assimilated.
Oh, and do a mud wrestle.
Yeah, like, oftentimes, yeah, by the next week, it's like, hey, remember that horrifically traumatic thing that happened to you last week? Yeah, I'm fine now. Like, Geordi got turned into a rave ape, and by the next week was fine.
Raving.
Not my line, I think that was you.
No, I
No, I
know,
think you
but
called
I
it
just
that first.
Did I?
always forget that it was a thing that we've said. It's always shocking.
I really thought that was someone else, because that's, I don't know, too good. But yeah, seriously, you know, or like, fucking, what's the awful devolution episode?
Metamorphosis?
Genesis, yeah. Although I guess I could see not wanting to speak of that ever again. Like, let's just pretend that didn't happen. But yeah, like Star Trek, like most TV shows, really, there is this aspect of we reset, we don't really sit and discuss our ongoing trauma, unless we're DS9
Isn't
and
that just
Nog.
adulthood? Like,
Ooh, touche.
I mean,
Woof.
Deep.
Well, and
cut.
actually, yeah, no, in the 90s, too, really still, like, wasn't taken as seriously as it could be. Yeah, it's a good point. A cultural thing, I guess.
Yeah, but you know, for an episodic show, like, was it we were watching The Center Seat or something else when we were talking about how people who watch an episodic show need to be able to drop in whenever because when it was airing in 1990 freaking 6,
Yeah.
if you miss a week, you don't get to stream it whenever
Right.
you want. You need to catch it every week if you want it to, want to
true.
follow a plot. So if you're not episodic, people can get themselves fucked.
Yeah.
I mean, but that's such laziness though, because serialized storytelling isn't some new invention in the last 20 years. It's
How long have soap operas been around?
exactly since the fucking before
60s.
TV.
Since radio, yeah.
From before there were radio soaps that translated into television soaps.
Ooh.
Though
So-
being fair, one of the issues with a soap is that what they do is they spend almost half of every episode reiterating all the major points just in case you missed anything.
Well, and it takes like about a month and a half's worth of episodes for anything to progress.
Yeah.
It's like how a fight in a bad anime can take like 8 weeks.
Just say what you mean. You mean it's how it is in Dragon Ball Z always.
I was actually thinking Naruto, but
Oh, well, also that.
Dragon Ball.
but yeah, I feel like there is a way you could serialize and catch people up without like having to fall back completely on like soap method.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think
there's a middle
DS9.
ground. you can
DS9
do.
at the end, I think, did a good job of that, of making it so that it was a continued plot, but it was one that you didn't, like, you could lose a week and be caught up and understand what you missed. You'd want to go see it, obviously.
Yeah, yeah.
Wait for reruns.
Yeah.
Buy the DVD pack.
But yeah, I think that's sort of like...
Well, like I think that's actually what happened in like the early 2000s.
Yeah, once it was on home video.
People realized that like, oh, I didn't really like this show when it was on, probably because they weren't watching it week to week and following it. But once you could get the DVD, you could binge it.
Yeah. Nana said this in the documentary we
Yeah.
watched.
So I think to our eyes, a show like Voyager, it's like, okay, yeah, they kind of screwed the pooch on this whole Lost in Space element of it.
That's the thing, though. I feel like they still, at least, even if they couldn't have had, didn't want to go full serialized, you could still, like, all you need to know is they're lost in space.
Mm-hmm.
And they still could have done a bigger job of, like, not a bigger job, a more sort of, what's the word I want? I don't know. But they could have leaned on that, a more thorough job of leaning on that, like, we need shit. Like I said, they had talked about the idea they'd had that was rejected was like over time you'd actually see like new components getting integrated and things would change a little, and like that you could do without confusing people as long as they just know the basic premise: lost in space.
Well, yeah, or just like the ship is damaged.
Yeah.
And
Takes a while to fix it.
Takes a while to fix it. Well, we have to limp along at warp 2 for a while.
Let Voyager be that car with the mismatched door.
Yeah.
But actually do that. Like why is the right nacelle a different color than the left one?
No, they always seem able to fix everything until it looks pristine again, even though they actually don't have resources.
Well, I mean, also, part of that is they don't want to fuck their physical model of the ship.
Yeah.
If it were CG and good CG, they probably could have gotten away with doing that. But yeah, if they had to, I mean, I guess if they were updating the model physically throughout the show and just augmenting it with different things or changing out components, it would.
But even if they had to say like, look, we can't afford to do everything, at least fuck with the interior a little more.
Yeah.
And like I get, I mean, the hallways you need them to look as uniform as possible because in reality there's like 3 of them that you shoot from 12 different angles. But the bridge, sickbay, permanent sets like that you could have had some fun with,
True.
Of course, that means at some point Tom would have insisted on swapping out a bunch of like switches for like
My God.
little L cars for switches, I should say.
Anyway, I feel like we're straying from the episode.
Yeah, sorry.
And
Straying? Do you mean running screaming from?
I love this episode.
No. I mean because of how much we're not staying on track, not because of the episode itself.
That's the thing. It is a good episode, unlike the next one.
Yeah, it's a good one. Like I said, the pacing is just...
Yeah.
It keeps you involved and gorged the whole time. I love this note. This is one of my favorite notes. Garrett Wong improvised the little running spin that he did when he shot those Vidiians.
Oh shit! Because I was like, oh wow, good spin.
Yeah, the director said, yeah, you shoot this guy, crouch, then shoot that guy. And Garrett says, what if I do a cute little roll?
That was he came out of it perfectly.
It was very good.
Fuck, I couldn't do that.
I also love the moment when you can see things are going bad because the doctor flickers.
Yeah.
And whatever he was holding in his hand drops to the floor. And he looks down and realizes things are going very poorly.
Yeah, that was a nice touch. Oh, there was one kind of bonkers thing in this, though.
Just one.
Just the one.
Apparently no one ever told Kate Mulgrew how to say schism.
Oh my
What
god.
did she say?
She said
Schism.
schism.
Oh no!
The schism.
It's just like, wait, what? Hold on, rewind.
Don't, and as Chris said, and don't correct me. It sickens me.
That's always one that, like, I mean, I don't know. That, just an actor mispronouncing a word, I can understand. The one that really gets under my skin is when you have two actors in a scene together pronouncing the same word differently.
Oh
Yeah.
man.
We saw that
There's
in
this-
TOS a lot.
There's
Yes.
this episode of Doctor Who where the people are talking about this like sort of deity type of entity called Omega. But so we say Omega, the English say Omega, but then there's this
What?
one random character who
I
goes,
hate that.
who is this Omega person? So it's like 3 different ways of saying the shit is floating around, and it's like, what is happening?
And I think even some people in it said Omega. I think it depends on what part of Britain you're from. But as it was supposed to be a character's name and not the Greek letter, they all probably should have agreed on.
But yeah, Omega sounds like some fucking dumb shit, doesn't it? Hate it.
Aluminium.
Oh, I love aluminium, but I can't stomach Omega. It just sounds like throwing up.
The one I could
It sounds
do
like,
without.
oh my god.
Oh my god,
Speaking
that's
of
true.
the British and schism, schedule. I fucking hate schedule.
Oh,
Good, I'm glad you hate schedule.
'Cause
I
it's
hate
like-
it too.
Oh, I like
I get
schedule.
it, because in German, SCH is sure. But if you're going to say schedule, you should also say Schul.
Do they say shul?
No, they say school.
Monsters.
Like, every other thing, they do the onomatopoeia, but with schedule, they decide to keep it.
The
It's like-
onomatopoeia?
not onomatopoeia. The,
No, yeah, not at all
what's the fucking word for
onomatopoeia.
that?
I don't
Phonetic?
know, but it's certainly not onomatopoeia.
When there's a new pronunciation, we
Our
use
English majors are engorged in...
diphthong. The diphthong.
Not an English major.
No,
She's talking about us two.
These two.
No, I know.
Being fair, I was.
The two that don't know what words
I was more
mean.
about.
Chris is like, being fair, I wasn't a very good one.
No. Being fair, I never focused on grammar. I was strictly literature.
Grammar is fun.
Anyway,
Is it?
speaking of grandma, the next episode.
Oh God.
Okay. Oh, dearie me.
Guys, it reminded me of that show that we did that time. Remember that show we worked on that one time?
Yeah, there's a play called Rocket Man that was better than this episode.
There's
That's
also a
correct.
TV show called Mork and Mindy, where you're born old and age backwards.
There's
There's
also
also
Benjamin Button.
Button.
Yep.
There's also that TAS episode. Granted, that was a bad episode.
Oh, so
The
bad.
counter clock incident.
Benjamin
This is
Button.
also a bad episode. Please describe it.
Benjamin
Alright.
Brown Eye.
So, my God.
Oh, thanks,
Been a long
Jake.
time since they did that one.
Thank you, Jake.
No, he was doing it on his own the other day.
Oh God,
It's not even funny.
this is the
Y'all
problem.
have
With,
Master Brown Eye.
this is the problem with being in person again. Is like they feed off each other
It
way
creates
more.
a loop, a continuous feedback loop.
Oh God,
It's like when someone has their phone on in a Zoom meeting.
yeah.
Like a balloon and something
Imagining
bad
Abe's like
happens.
walking past my room and she just hears me going, Brown Eye.
You mean
Oh, he's doing Brown Eye on his own.
Brown eyeing again. A
Oh,
dirty son of a
God.
bitch.
Alright. Can we...
No, I don't think we
well,
can.
I'm going to talk over you then.
That's fine.
Because I'm going to talk about this episode, Innocence.
Whew, boy.
Now, if in Deadlock I was saying, please trank that baby a couple of times,
Oh God.
imagine how many times in Innocence I said, please trank these fucking children. Oh boy. Alright, let's do a quick synopsis of Innocence to get it out of the fucking way.
How
We
quick?
act-
Can we just say
Okay,
it sucks?
Actually, okay, we start Innocence in the most traumatizing
Yeah, that's
fucking
true.
way.
God.
Watching Ensign Bennett dying very horribly.
Yeah.
And being like, and no one cares about me, like no one's gonna miss me when I'm dead.
It was super sad.
Yeah.
It's so upsetting.
Only good part of the episode.
I'm laughing because it was really upsetting. It was
I mean, that's
awful.
the best way to get through it because wow, poor Ensign Bennett. And
Seriously.
then we keep bringing up that he's dead and keep bringing up that his body's still here, but we never see it again. But his body's been there the whole time.
Yep.
Weird. Okay. Anyway, Ensign Bennett dies because he's been out with Tuvok doing like surveying of some moons around this system that we're making first contact with. I don't know why we're surveying their moons when we haven't made first contact with them yet.
Because we want to play Family
God
Feud.
damn it. Alright, but anyway, he's dead. We've crash landed on this moon. Tuvok's still okay. And he's like, well, so much for that guy. Something seems amiss here. Oh, there are these 3 small 9-year-old looking children, Tressa, Elani, and Corin. And they tell this tale that, we came to this planet too, and our shuttle pod also crashed in the same thunderstorm that yours did. Will you protect us, Tuvok? And Tuvok, being a fool, says, okay.
Of course, children.
And so he has to watch these children while he's trying to fix his shuttle pod. Meanwhile, over on the Voyager, we're making first contact with the Vidiian people, and we meet Alcea, their first prelate, who is, holy shit, the worst. Wow, I hated her so much. We've talked on this podcast about how when you meet people and there's something important you have to tell them, you should tell them the thing that's important. Mm-hmm. And Alcea instead tells us absolutely nothing the whole fucking episode long. But we'll get back to her in a minute. So anyway, we're making first contact. It's going well until she decides, nope, my people are kind of standoffish and we like just hanging out on our own and we don't like technology because the technology becomes too important and we're kind of technophobes, even though we've got raider ships and shit. Thanks, Alcea. God, I hated her.
So judgy.
She's very judgy. Almost as judgy as I am of her.
See, at first I thought Jake was saying you were being judgy, and then I realized he meant the character.
I was like,
Porque no los dos.
Porque no los dos, indeed. Yeah.
Alright, so Alcea says, nope, we're not going to do this whole negotiation thing, even though you need all this material that you can find very easily on one of our moons that you've surveyed and know about. Jerks. You can't have it. We're not interested. We'd like to continue being hobbits in a cave. Meanwhile, back on planet, the kids insist that the Tuvok has to, keep them safe from the Morok, a monster that lives in that cave right there. And Tuvok says, that is so not a thing. You kids are brats. Mm-hmm. Here, I'll prove it. There's no scanning in there. You'll be fine. And the kids are brats the whole fucking time.
Yep.
And long story short, the monster that lives in the cave is deaf.
Once again, this is just adulthood.
Something happened to Chris.
Oh, that was just the way
He was doing his impression of the Wheel of Fortune wheel.
That's pretty good. Excellent. Yeah, so basically, Tuvok eventually gets in touch with the
His
Voyager.
feminine side?
No.
Oh.
With the Voyager to tell them, hey, I've got this kid with me. The other 2 have vanished. And I'm pretty sure there might be something to what she's been saying about the Vidiian people wanting to kill them. So I'm gonna keep her with me, if that's cool. We just made first contact. Let's kidnap their children. What the fuck, this episode? And Janeway's like, yes, that is obviously the correct thing to do. Meanwhile, Alcea tells them, hey, your guy is on our moon, on our protective, sacred moon. You have to get him out of there. And Janeway says, okay, I'll go fly down and pick him up. She says, no, you can't go down there. You have to get him out of there. And Janeway says, this is a catch-22.
We have reached an impasse.
God, I hate you, Alcea. You are the absolute worst. Almost as bad as the Vidiians. So eventually, we end up talking enough with Tuvok, and we end up all down on the planet together. And this little girl is scared that Alcea is going to get her killed. And Tuvok says, don't do it. And Alcea says, oh my god, okay, I'll finally tell you what's up. I should have done this fucking days ago. But I was being the worst. Here's the deal. This little girl here is actually 96 years old. And everyone gasps, even though every fucking species has a different lifespan. She could be a baby Yoda for all we know.
True.
But in this case, 96 years means she's at the end of her natural life. And apparently this species ages backwards. So by the time that they're about to die, they're child-sized. And compelled to go into that cave, which the Morok monster is just a tale about going into the cave and dying. And finally, Tressa, the last little girl who's left, says, I want Tuvok to go with me. And Alcea says, yes, we really like Tuvok, even though I've been being really mean to you this whole episode long. So go ahead, Tuvok. Watch this little girl die. The end. Fucking what?
So, here are all the reasons this episode is bad, aside from I don't like children. Because that's, we bitch about a lot. Everyone listens to know we don't like children in our television. So let's just set that aside for a minute. We will bitch about them, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah.
But here's all the other
the children.
reasons that, even if you don't mind children in your television, reasons this is actually a fucking terrible episode. There's no good reason for those people to be so secretive about their life cycle, except so that the episode can happen, which is lazy.
Yep.
they never do explain where the bodies go.
They become energy?
That was my assumption, that they just, like, evaporate into...
Yeah.
That's what I mean, like, they force ghost because their clothes are there.
Yeah, the clothes are there laid out like there was a person just in it.
But that's still just kind of weird, though, because...
It's fine. That wasn't the thing that took me out of it for longer than me asking what happened, and then Jake saying, energy thing.
Yeah, it's still, like, kind of flimsy for me. The twist is stupid.
Oh, I don't like it.
Like, just so stupid. Like, just why? Again, it's fucking Mork and Mindy did it as a joke. You know, it was like the gag the first time was like, Mork needed a doctor. And they sent this old, brilliant doctor. Of course, he played by, like, a toe-headed 7-year-old. And it's like, ha ha ha!
I get it.
And then, when the show was on its last legs, he had a kid. And the kid was played by an actor older than Robin Williams. Ha ha ha.
Good joke.
And it's just like, this twist is dumb. Also, how does it work? Like, the question is always like, how
they
you...
introduced this twist literally in the last 30 seconds of the episode.
Yeah,
so
it's
you
like...
You can't think about it, because you shouldn't, because it'll break everything.
It's like when a bad mystery introduces key evidence
like
in
Aquio.
the reveal.
Oh,
yeah.
I hate that.
Like,
it's annoying, because then you cannot possibly have guessed it on your own.
Yeah, so it's... And also, when you, again, the minute you think about this, like, how does it work? How the fuck do you give birth to a full-sized ass adult? Because that's in theory what happens.
They might not give live birth, but I want to know this. Are some people born older than others?
Right? It doesn't make sense.
Oh, that's a good
Like,
question.
if somebody comes out and they're, like, 15 years old, it's like, oh, he's not lasting long.
Yeah, like, and that's one of the main problems with that kind of story. Because I've had the same thought. It's like, well, how does this work? Like, you have a better idea of how long you're going to live, which is weird and freaky.
Yeah, but by the time you're a child thing, it seems like you lose at least most of your memories. You become this innocent state, hence the title.
Well, is it like senility?
That's what I mean. It seemed like a really
like
unpleasant metaphor for it that just makes senility into something...
even worse.
Cute.
Yeah, which is disgusting. Oh, there was actually one other thing about the episode I liked.
That you liked? Was
Yes,
it the song?
there was the... Okay, that was kind of cool. The opening was like tragic and wonderful. And then Tuvok's angry dad finger at one point.
Oh, I'm
I
so
am-
happy
that
with
was a-
that.
that
I
was a
am
good
like
finger.
shocked as fuck that is not one of those just super common Star Trek meme pictures because it feels like it
It's a
feels like
good
it should be
one.
all over the
Well,
place.
because you'd have to watch this episode to find that,
And no one
that
should.
screenshot.
Good point.
Yeah,
That's
Tuvok
true.
had a great line because the kids ask, "Oh, do you have kids?" He's like, "I have 4 awesome kids whom I miss." And they're like, "Oh, what are they like?" Well behaved.
Yeah, that was good.
And I said, "Yes, Tuvok. Thank you."
Can one of us reconfigure the Geordie meme to be Tuvok doing the finger and then I don't know Tuvok doing something else for the
Probably,
second,
yeah.
second one?
Frowning.
I mean, I can't.
Okay,
because I don't have those skills. But
I just checked. Tuvok. Tim Russ does have a child. I was gonna say, he's like, I feel like that's not acting. That is, he's had to make that face before.
Yeah, man. Yeah, there's a lot of dumb shit.
Also, I guess, okay, the little bit of insight we get into how Vulcans, like, obviously it's not...
How they don't fear things? Or...
Well, not that, but that's interesting. But like how they maybe discuss it with their children. Like, obviously it's a little different here because the children aren't Vulcan, but presumably, before Vulcan children start getting taught, they're probably, normal and not suppressing their emotions.
Like we saw in the Star Trek 2009 movie.
Not the best example. Oh, shit, that reminds me, though. One of the Vidiians is in the Star Trek 2009 movie. Anyway, moving on. Just has a very
That happened.
he has a very distinct face that even under all that makeup, I was like, that guy's familiar when I looked him up.
Yeah.
Anyway, but like the fact that like there is sort of like we maybe get something of an idea of how they start to teach their children, albeit probably younger than these ones would have been, and this and that. And that's sort of interesting.
96.
Yes. Well, yeah, well, then as we thought.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, the song was kind of cute. The idea that, there's little glimpse at Vulcan art.
It's like the Vulcan Odyssey or something, it sounded like.
Yeah, kind of.
I
So
find it
those
interesting that like Tuvok isn't sure he really believes in Katras.
Yeah.
I thought that was interesting.
Even though we've seen in episodes that Katras are a literal
It's a
thing,
real
that,
thing.
that happens.
Well, I mean, that's a little different, though, I think, like...
It's like the Bajorans believing in the prophets. Yeah, they're aliens, but yeah, that is a thing that exists.
Well, the thing that I think he has more doubt about, though, is, like, what happens to the Katra when you die, assuming you haven't, like, done what Spock did.
Done a remember.
And even then, like, remember in Star Trek 3, he's like, I want to do this stuff with the Katra, and she's like, this shit hasn't been done in so long, we're not even sure if it's real.
True.
So I feel like that still makes sense. Like, he can believe in the Katra, but not necessarily to think that anything happens to it when you croak if you don't do like a thing.
A what?
I guess the audio. I did like a...
No, I know.
Yeah.
I know. I wanted to hear you make the sound again.
But yeah, like, from a writing standpoint, so much of this is very weak. Because, like, stuff happens just so the episode can happen.
I don't care for the children actors, but
that's
fucking surprising to everyone. But here's what I specifically didn't like about every scene with the children, is whenever they would have dialogue lines, it would literally be child 1 says a thing, child 2 says a thing, child 3 says a thing. In that order, every single time, and they were written in the way that children never talk.
Yeah, I didn't notice the order thing, but... Because,
every single time.
took turns saying why.
It's like they wanted to say, okay, let's make sure if we're going to get these 3 child actors that they each have an equal amount of stuff to say in these scenes.
Yeah.
And no.
Yeah, that was... I had joked when it started and the first kid came, and I was like, oh man, this is going to be one of the worst episodes ever. And then it actually really was very bad, but for, like, legitimate reasons, not just I don't like children in my Star Trek.
I wanted Tuvok to make them run a 10K.
Yes.
I know, right?
Just to be fair, though, not liking children in your Star Trek is also a legitimate reason.
Yeah, but that's like a very personal thing. Whereas, like, I feel like it's one of those things like when you're writing an essay. It's like there's no evidence. That's a very personal choice thing. Versus here's things I can point to and concretely make an argument why this is bad, like poor writing and this and that. Versus just I don't like kids. That's more an opinion than something I can back up in a textual fashion. Also, one of the kids was that Maori brother.
What brother?
Tia and Tamara Maori. They had a younger brother who was also an actor.
What was it?
From
Sister.
Well,
the
sisters had a brother.
I believe you. I have no idea what words you just said.
Turns out they had 2, but he's the one that did a lot of acting as well. And yeah, their makeup, like I joked about earlier, I don't know if it's still in the episode, but it just, their little, like, head triangles just look like really dry skin, not...
Yeah, not a good makeup choice.
No.
Yeah.
Also, as Jake pointed out, why the fuck were they surveying the moons before having made contact if they knew they were going to make...
point that out. Somebody else
I pointed that out.
Oh, Ames, sorry. But either way, like, that was just dumb, too.
It just seems rude,
Yes,
too.
exactly.
I feel like Alcea, and this is the one case where Alcea would have been right in her being a bitch, should have said, like, please stop surveying our sacred moons before you even talk to us. Thank you.
And where was Chakotay to be like, we respect their cultural...
I know,
whatever.
right? That's true. Like, Chakotay got all bent out of shape when they were to the
asteroid with the dead people?
Yeah, the spiderweb people.
Yeah, because Chakotay is written super inconsistently.
Yeah. I don't think he said a damn word in this whole episode.
He said that stupid prayer.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he also told us... He said how excited about first contact he was.
Oh, that's right.
Because he met a species and did like their like normal, hey, how you doing wave, and realized, oh, I'm actually coming on to them.
Yeah, that's right.
That's because he was doing this instead.
Oh, no, not the jerk off.
Yeah, right. He had just come on to their ambassador, and I said, and as it turns out, the ambassador was a very gentle and generous lover.
Ooh, okay. I want to see that story.
That was the thing.
Tell us, Chakotay. Tell us the tale.
That was the thing, too. Like, the scenes before, like, she suddenly got all standoffish and cold were just dull, you know? It's like, here's our warp core. Oh, well, here's what we think. Okay. Here's our doctor. Ooh, even though I should probably be horrified that he's such a high-tech thing, instead I'm like, it's like our thing's about energy.
Yeah.
That was... You just made like a Zoidberg sound.
I thought that was a boss nass.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, God, it was. How horrible. It's really just being so frustrated at how, like, just bad this episode was. It was so bad. And not for the reasons I was expecting.
It was bad. It was pretty bad. Yeah.
I know. This is going to sound awful. I think I preferred the children's scenes to the scenes with Alcea, because at least the children's scenes were written consistently. The children were telling the Tuvok the things that they knew.
Yeah.
Granted, they happened to be going through child senility, so what they knew was wrong.
The poor children.
But that was at least consistent. Meanwhile, Alcea is just she's telling us different things scene by scene about what their beliefs in technology are.
Yeah.
And then she starts chasing them in their hyper-advanced spaceship. Thanks, Alcea.
Which, again, like, all of it could have been avoided. She's like, look, here's the deal. But again, we had to be like, oh no, maybe they are evil and blah, blah, blah. And
they wanted there to be a twist. It's not what you think it is.
Unearned as fuck.
Everyone's actually right. Especially Tuvok. Tuvok was good in this.
He was.
He was wonderful.
He was doing very well with what he was given.
Yeah.
I was disturbed that the Tuvok shuttle was a TNG style shuttle, and in the same episode we also saw a Voyager style shuttle. What kind of shuttles do they have on Voyager? Do they have both kind of shuttles?
Well, isn't the special one Paris's ship, the Cochrane, that they specifically modded?
I think that was just a modified shuttle.
Well,
But I still think I don't think it started from the same place as the.
Well, see, there's less
TNG style shuttle.
There's less trunk space in that one. Like they're in the TNG style, and that's sort of the minivan of shuttles.
Oh.
The other one's like a sedan.
Well, they also have the tiny TNG shuttles, which we don't see anymore. The little tiny, the
Oh, those
two-seaters.
are awful. Yeah, those suck.
Too many kinds of shuttles, Star Trek. Now I know you did it just because you didn't want to build a whole nother shuttle set for Tuvok because you already had the shuttle set.
You should see our blogtivity today. It's going to talk about this kind of stuff and how they always just reuse the same fucking thing over and over again.
Like that bird of prey explosion footage.
Yay, nice.
Oh yeah, another thing related to the
reuse, recycle.
was it Barnett? Bennett? I've already forgotten. Poor
Bennett.
Bastard. Bennett. Body preservation field. I was like, oh, that's neat. Not seen that before, but that makes sense.
I mean, how long did he think they were going to be laying around?
Well, that's just it. He thought it might be a while. So.
He was worried about the stench.
I think it's nice that they have that. Got like the stench, and also this, if a predator shows up, it can't take one of his legs.
I mean, I'd rather the predator ate the dead corpse than me. Like,
in theory,
Then you go in your shuttle and shut the door.
Yeah, then you're stuck in
I
the
don't know
God.
why he didn't do that with the children when they were afraid of the Morok.
That was another thing. When he fucking gives her a face, like, I trust you could be, handle this. I was like, you do?
Oh, that was awful. Don't give children guns.
I was waiting for her to accidentally kill Harry Kim or something. Like Kim comes down to the planet.
He basically gave the Homer Simpson explanation of a gun. This is the end of you point at the thing you want to die, and this is the trigger.
And then he told her that the boogeyman was coming.
Yeah, seriously.
Boogeyman!
He's lucky she didn't shoot him when he opened the door, because he looked ready to.
I mean, he would have been fine. He's a Vulcan.
Oh, right, but that's a different... Yes, I forgot he actually did have a boogeyman freak out.
Who?
Homer.
Yes.
The working title of this episode was Emotional Awakening.
Gross.
They're so bad at titles.
They really are.
Really bad.
Deadlock
was okay.
I was about to say, what does that even mean? Deadlock. Like, it doesn't actually really make a ton of sense.
Well, they're dead.
And they're locked.
And they're locked to the death.
Yeah, it felt like...
It's like neither of them can really make a move without hurting the other
It's
one.
like dreadlocks.
Yeah, I guess.
Which are
Yes,
style.
it's just like that.
I don't know. So bad. Like, they had to... Like, again, the twist was stupid, and...
Such a tweeze.
What a tweeze.
They really didn't justify why... Like, they're very private. It's like, yeah, but things are spiraling out of control. You think... I don't care how private you are. You're going to go like, all right, look, here's the fucking deal.
I also don't understand, like, okay, they couldn't beam through the atmosphere. Take the fucking ship in. Why are we taking this little wimpy-ass shuttle?
Because they don't have the budget.
Oh, I know that, but...
Oh, and again, also it would have solved the problem too quickly.
Yeah.
It's so the episode can happen. Wow.
Like, the little wimpy shuttles can't stand up to the plasma bullshit, whatever storm that this planet has. So if this little moon always has this fucking storm happening that causes ships to crash, and the whole point is that people go there and peacefully die, sounds like most of them are probably just dying in ship crashes.
Well, so the thing is, the what are they called again?
The Drayans?
The Drayans? They had figured out to use a hoodly-doo field. It just apparently went wrong with this one particular ship. Like, normally they're able to land no problem. But yeah, it is a wicked fucking hassle. Like, I don't know.
All right. Let's move on to our game.
Please.
Because we did discuss how shuttle pods vary season by season. And I know we just covered a whole bunch of talk on captain's chairs, which was very fun. You can check them all out on our Tumblr. Now we're going to talk about all the alien captain's chairs that we see. And we're going to cut this in half because there were way too many that I could think of. And yet, I know we talked in captain chair discussion about how the chair changes every freaking season or every freaking movie. And it meant I had to find a lot of screen grabs and it got exhausting. With alien chairs, everyone just has the same fucking chair all the time. And let me show you guys, make sure that you're following along on our Tumblr, SSHB Podcast, over at the Tumblr, because this is actually quite funny.
To answer a question that came up earlier, Catarian eggs were the eggs that Kirk made in Generations.
Oh.
I didn't remember that.
There we go.
First, I want to show you guys, because I didn't include this the other week when we were talking Captain's Chairs, but I added Captain Tribble. So this is already up on the blog, so y'all have seen it, but Chris hasn't yet. But
Actually, I have, because earlier today when I was checking for the what today's episodes were on the drive, I saw that, but I kept it to myself. Just in case.
They have Captain Tribble on timelines, and it's in Kirk's chair, so it's actually one of the really better views of Kirk's chair.
Why is the base of the chair so much narrower than it should be?
I think it's the angle.
No, because you can see the distance from the central
Oh yeah, you're right.
support is only like a few inches, whereas on Kirk's chair it's like much farther.
It's fine. Look, it's got a big pink tribble in it. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I also realized I forgot one captain's chair 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah?
No.
But it's not that important. It's
Oh.
the one that we see in the USS Pasteur in All Good Things.
It looks like they just took Picard's chair and changed the upholstery.
Yeah, they bleached it white or something. So it's up on the Tumblr, so y'all have seen it already, but I just wanted to include that, yep, we got a white Enterprise chair.
I have a bleached captain's chair.
Hot. So,
Okay.
I realized that made this part of the Endeavor way easier. We never really see captain's chairs in any of TOS. The two that we do kind of see, which I'm going to qualify as captain's chairs just because they're delightful, are the chairs on the Facerius, which is Baylock's ship.
Let's be fair. That is a captain's chaise lounge, almost.
It is a little child-sized sofa covered in pillows and Clint Howard, and it's delightful.
Possibly the only good Star Trek child.
Yeah.
They did dub him with
Oh
an
my
adult,
goodness.
though, so that might help.
Well, it didn't hurt.
Jake Sisko is rolling around in his grave.
He's not dead.
Well, he's a teenager.
He
so.
died at the end of The Visitor.
Yikes.
I'm talking like prepubescent.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, like child. Yeah, but the Facerius is very fun, so I included that in the list.
That's fair. That is totally fair.
Because also, otherwise I wouldn't have almost anything from TOS. The one other thing I have from TOS to show you guys is the Romulan Commander Lady's chair from the Enterprise incident. Don't know if you'd call it a captain's chair.
It's like her office chair.
But it's the chair that she commands from.
It's a good chair.
It's a
I want
command
that chair.
Yeah, it's huge, like big, like black upholstered
Ooh.
thing. She gets to lounge in it. It's one of few captain's chairs you can lounge in.
Yeah.
Clearly bisexual.
That's the thing. We don't know what the bridge looks like. I don't think we see the bridge of this one.
No.
But the bridge we saw of the experimental ship, certainly, they were... The Warbird, the original
Where did we
Romulan
see
appeared.
this?
Balance of Terror.
I don't think that's the bridge.
But
If that's the bridge, it's there are no chairs in it.
that's what I was going to say,
Okay.
yeah. There's no chairs on that.
Right.
But we don't know if that's a normal Romulan thing or just because it was an experimental
okay.
I think
ship.
it's just more like because it's like a submarine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like a submarine
Like
thing.
it's just a bunch of stations.
Yeah,
It's not
Yeah.
really
which is
anything
how
else. Yeah.
submarines are.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense for a bridge. But I think all Romulans need this chair.
Yes.
I want that fucking chair.
I want that fucking chair. It looks real nice.
It's kind of like the Proto-Prodigy chair almost. It's so wide and white.
I'm going to jump over, because we finally do actually see what you can definitely say is a bridge with a captain's chair in the motion picture, when we see the Klingon captain who gets kerploded by Voyager.
Mark Leonard.
Mark Leonard, playing a Klingon. I'm told the ship is called the IKS Amar.
Sure.
The chair is quite fancy, very plush.
Yeah.
Kind of a nice maroon color and a neat shape. I'm into it.
Yeah.
Decent chair.
Though it does, I mean, when compared to the ones we eventually see, I feel like those feel a little more Klingon. This is almost too comfy.
It is pretty comfy.
But Klingons were still pretty nascent at this point.
Yeah, and this guy's got different Klingon makeup than anybody of the Klingons.
Yeah.
They haven't become the Klingons that we know.
Not
from everything
quite
else.
yet. They almost gave them weird alien hands in this movie.
Hands? Like how? Like
They were gonna have
fused or
They were gonna have like weird 3-fingered thing. Like Gene viewed TMP as a soft reboot in some ways, and he was really like, when you look at early sketches of the Klingons, that's kind of what they looked at when they did the Discovery redesign.
But they actually had the makeup technology to do it.
Yeah, like chances are we would have gotten Discovery Klingons in TMP if they'd had the ability.
If they'd waited 50 years.
Yeah. Except again, they also would have had freaky hands too,
No.
not just big heads. Sorry, move on. I'm of course.
No,
yeah.
that's cool. But yeah, so the chair is, it's kind of a soft reboot chair.
Yes.
I can't imagine, well, Koloth, I can imagine this chair.
Oh,
I can't
yes.
imagine Kor or Kang in this
I
chair.
can imagine Koloth in either the TOS chairs we saw.
The Balak chair?
Yeah, or the Romulan one. Either one, I could totally see him just lounging
Yes.
luxuriously.
Luxuriant bitch status.
In, who's this, Krug's?
Mm-hmm.
In Krug's ship that we see, he has a different Klingon chair. Kind of similar, because it still looks a little bit upholstered, but a different shape. And we always see it, for some reason, what looks like a sweatshirt thrown over the back of it.
Yeah, it's the cloak he wears when he goes down to the planet.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah.
It's
noticed
his
it has-
away mission sweatshirt.
I noticed it has a similar base to the one that they had in TMP. It had like a circular footing.
Yeah, with like little sort of light things. So they
yeah.
It kind of echoed that look. Here.
Although they've also done sort of like he's got Finney shooting buttons.
Oh yeah.
Which Mark Leonard did not.
Yeah, I don't think Mark Leonard's chair even looks like it has arms at all.
Yeah, I don't think of most, like, I mean, again, I might be proven wrong, but I think of what few alien, I feel like usually the captain's sharing buttons on it feels like a specifically Federation thing. It'll be interesting to see if I am misremembering that.
Yeah, let's find out. Because we're going to move forward to the next one. So, okay, so we're going to see this chair a couple times. This is Claw's chair from the fourth TOS movie. Doesn't look comfortable. Fifth, you're right. What I do really like about it is that when he brings his little periscope thing down, you can
It
see on
locks
the
in.
picture all the way on the side that it connects to the chair,
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
which is pretty sweet.
It also looks way less comfortable, which feels more Klingon.
Yep. Yeah, it looks kind of like it's been carved more than it's been built.
Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
But yeah, so we're going to see this chair a little bit because it looks like this chair, and I'm going to jump around now and go in no particular order because we recycle chairs so often that I just clumped so you can see them
Fair.
back to back. So we'll take a good look at this chair and then go forward to the next slide, which is a Cardassian chair that we see in The Wounded. Because it looks to me like it's the same chair.
It seems likely. Hop back again?
Yeah, it looks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no.
because it's got these little pads on the top.
Yep, like I think
repainted.
they like added those little stripes or possibly carved. No, I think it's just stripes, not carved in vents. But yeah, I think it is the same chair.
Yeah, so we see this chair at least another time, so that was interesting to me.
There we go.
This is a different chair. So in the Undiscovered Country, number 6, we see Chang's ship, the Dacron, and it has a chair that we're going to see a ton in TNG. Everyone's got this fucking chair in
It looks like a
TNG.
good chair.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's
solid.
a good chair. Yeah, it's very solid
Although
looking.
It's got kind of Borgy vibes.
Doesn't look like you could ever really reach that headrest. Though.
No, that
Why
is
would you if you're a Klingon?
that is strictly for.
If you were a Ferengi, maybe they've kind of got big back head situation, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Maybe it was made for Discovery Klingons. 'Cause they tend to have like a big
Yeah,
cone
the
head
back,
type
yeah.
thing going on.
Yeah. So another chair that looks like it's been carved out of something and given a pretty decent little padding thing.
yeah.
But the shape of this we also kind of see in TNG in Gowron's ship, and this is in Redemption 1 or 2 or both. We see Gowron's ship, the Bortas, same looking chair. Only, I love this, Gowron has made a lot of little Klingon stickers and put little Klingon stickers on it. Typical Gowron. Yep, so we see this chair again here. And I believe we see it again here. This is Kern's ship, the Hegta. So in Redemption 2, it looks like that's the same chair. You can even see the little stickers.
Yeah.
However, in Redemption 1, we briefly see Kern over here with a different chair in the background. Take a really good look at that chair. Because this chair, we're going to see like 15 freaking times.
But that first one might not even be the bridge.
It might not be the bridge, but I caught a glimpse of this chair and said that chair looks familiar because we're going to see it again here.
I was wondering what this was.
Yeah, I put the HMS Bounty chair from Star Trek 4 over here because it's the same chair that we see a different time.
And it should be Christopher Lloyd's chair.
But it is very not.
Yeah, that's the one problem with those movies is between 3 and 4, they completely overhaul the bridge.
Yeah,
They
they
were
must have
supposed
done it
to-
on Vulcan, right?
Well, that's it. Why would they make it look more Klingon?
Yeah.
Like, it makes no sense. Like, they just kind of go, just don't think about it. And unfortunately, it is a huge continuity issue.
Oh, yeah. So they ditched the Christopher Lloyd chair that kind of, had padded, had a little peak at the back. It was kind of
Different
comfy
platform.
looking.
Yeah.
This one looks like a straight up chair that they dragged out of an airplane or something.
Yeah, but
Like
then put those Klingon side bits on.
Yeah, it's got little side bits. It's got like the comfy, cushiony back. But I believe we see, if not the same exact chair, a very similar chair, or maybe a reupholstered version of this chair in the Pach, which is in, I think it's A Matter of Honor, is the one where Riker is like a foreign exchange
the
student.
Exchange program.
Yeah. When he goes over to the Pa,
That is almost certainly the same chair.
and you see that chair. It looks to me to be the same chair.
Looks very similar.
Yep, looks quite similar. We're going to see another similar chair in the Hakona, which is the chair you see in Contagion.
Which one's that?
Contagion is the one with the Iconian Gateway.
Ah, yes.
And the Romulans are also trying to find it. And we see this Romulan commander lady in what looks like the same chair. And I believe you can see in the Pa, it has kind of like asymmetrical arms.
Oh, yeah, so it
that
does.
you can see in the Romulan commander's chair as well.
Yeah.
So it looks like the same chair to me here. I've been doing so much chair sleuthing in the past couple of weeks and saying, haha, I know that chair
The
anywhere.
question is, does this Romulan commander have a big-ass lounge chair in her office?
Oh, she must.
I hope so.
Meanwhile, I'm just sitting here. Ames is doing all this like fine detail, and I'm just like, oh no, they all look like the same chair. Oh, have you shown us any different chairs? Like, I mean, not literally, but almost that.
You'll see some good ones. Okay, but first we have to finish looking at this one particular chair. Because the Pack lads seem to also have this same chair.
They probably stole it from the Romulans.
Oh, that makes sense. See, that's one where it makes sense. Why everyone else has the same chair, I don't understand. Why it's the one from the HMS Bounty. I don't know. So the Pack lads have it on the Mondor. And finally, we come to a new chair. Okay, so here's a new chair that we first see in this Ferengi ship in the Price. And it looks like a theater chair, like you'd put on a stage, because it's really showy.
It is.
And
it makes sense for the Ferengi.
Yeah. Wait for it, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so you'll see in this chair, it's got these little, like, sticky outy, like, rays of sunshine that come off of it. Mm-hmm. It's got a really hokey tube that goes around it that I'm sure someone was really proud of designing.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. It looks uncomfortable as fuck, but I also kind of want one.
We'll just let the cat sleep on it. You know?
Aw.
We don't have to sit on it. The cat.
Oh, no, I've got to sit on this fucking Ferengi throne here.
Okay, well, what if it's not a Ferengi throne?
Uh-oh.
Moving forward, what if it's actually
a bed for the cats? Oh.
From a Romulan illusory ship in... Oh, God, what's the episode?
Oh, I know the one, but I don't know the title.
Yeah.
Borath.
I thought you were going to say with Borat.
Future Imperfect. Thank you, Jake. I should have written the titles down, but I didn't.
This was the second tier of illusion, but still not reality.
Yeah, this is the one that Riker's fake son from Future Imperfect created.
Yep.
How this kid knew about this chair to put it in the illusion, I don't understand.
Either that or, well, if Riker knew about it.
Yeah, because they were pulling from Riker's mind, but Riker never saw the Ferengi ship.
But he might have seen a Romulan ship that had this chair.
Well, let's find out, because we're going to see more of this freaking chair. Moving ahead, we also see what looks like this chair on a different Romulan ship.
Yeah.
This is Sila's ship, and I think this is another one of the Redemption chairs. We see a lot of chairs in Redemption, but Sila's ship, the Garaxis, looks like it has the same chair, minus the stupid tube.
Yeah.
Because
they
that
moved the
tube was hokey as hell.
And I think they painted the rays, because I think before the rays were the same color as the backing, and now the rays are sort of gray.
Yeah, so Sela has the same chair, clearly. We also see this chair.
Those horrible guys.
They paint it like a beige, and they give it to this Uridian trader. This is the guy that brought Worf to where he claimed his daddy was.
Yeah, and he met his Romulan girlfriend.
Oh, yeah, that's fucking James Cromwell and all that makeup, isn't it?
Yeah, in Birthright.
Zephram himself.
I mean, I miss the tube.
Really?
Without the tube, it's just less ludicrously opulent somehow.
Do you prefer with a little bar because in
Oh,
all
that
good
classes it up.
we see it with a little
Ooh.
bar over the top a couple of times. We see it here in All Good Things in Tomalak's ship. He's got you can just see a little bit of the chair, but you know it's the same one because it's always the same chair. You also see it here in the game, which is why we were talking about Katarians earlier, and how I said, wait a minute, Katarians don't all have head spikes. This woman didn't.
She has eggs.
In her forehead.
Oh, that's disgusting.
Katarian eggs.
It's a headbutt.
It does look like that.
But she's got the same chair with the little bar around, and it looks kind of like a silvery now.
Yeah.
All they do in TNG is repaint this chair over and over and over again.
Clearly.
I mean, it might just be like, you know, some shipbuilder sells this chair. And if you're building ships, but you know, it's just a standard part. They just call it, it's like in the McMaster catalog or something.
It's like how all computer chairs now look like racing chairs.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
You can buy different options. You can get bar, tube, or neither.
Her head is terrible, though. I
It is
really
terrible.
don't like it.
Terrible head.
Okay, we finally see the whole chair.
Oh,
over
they've added
here
baubles.
in Face of the Enemy, and I think they added these big ball things. They painted it more
Looks like
colors.
a fucking Mickey Mouse chair now. What the shit is going on?
No, this is the most opulent version, and I will not hear a bad word about it.
It looks like it's got a little... Oh, yeah, it does. She got her legs up on it? No, it's two pictures. I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah,
I was like, ooh. I wish it did. I wish it had a matching ottoman. Or a
that'd be
recliner.
nice.
A reclining...
Yeah, no, this is the
footrest
classiest rendition of
See,
this chair.
This looks like it's like got a...
It looks like a baby seat.
It's got like a bucket seat out of Toyota Tercel or something.
It seems really narrow to me. It seems like you get in there, you get hugged.
Ooh, yeah.
can be nice,
That'd be
though.
nice, yeah.
Maybe it's got a massager.
Yeah, I was gonna
built in.
say, can you put some massagers in it?
Yes,
I was gonna say,
please.
especially around the lower back. I feel like it would be so nice. And maybe butt warmers, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Why are they all looking so grumpy if they've got these sweet chairs?
Because they're
Yeah,
Romulans.
they're plotting.
Fuck.
They're plotting.
Always plotting.
All right, so I think that's the last instance of this chair that I have to show you guys. So we have a bunch of one-offs now, finally.
Goodbye, amazing chair.
Unique chairs. We're going to start with... Oh boy, that was a sound Chris made.
I'm sorry,
about
what
this
the
chair.
fuck?
We're going to start with a chair that most people will recognize because it's usually in Worf's quarters.
Yep.
But we first see it in Haven on the Tyrellian starship, being those people with the plague
Yep.
that we weren't going to let land on Haven because they'd give everyone the plague.
Yep.
And then Deanna's boyfriend went and lived with them instead. But we first see this really weird chair that just looks like a bunch of punching bags that stick up, and it's awkward as fuck to sit in because there's nowhere to put your arms that isn't awkward.
You have your feet at two different heights.
What's great is this was just some chair. They found at some sort of rich person boutique. Because this screams like I've got more money than sense furniture you would have in your like Los Angeles oversized rich boy apartment.
This looks like it was designed by Catherine O'Hara's character from Beetlejuice.
Yes, it fucking
Very
does.
much it does, yeah.
Holy shit. I wonder if we said that at the time. We might have. But either way, it's worth repeating because it totally fucking does.
Yeah, it's pretty good. What's actually also really good, I think I've mentioned, like, I troll around on X Astris Scientia, which is a Trek website just full of resources. And I found this chair on that page, which is why I knew to look for it. But they just have a page on there that's all the known chairs and where they came from, because some of them they knew, like, the designer.
Oh, wow.
So it's just a list of all these chairs, just all really weird shaped chairs, because they are so good at finding weird shaped chairs, which makes me surprised that they reused that one so many freaking times.
It probably wasn't cheap, and they were like, we are getting our money's worth out of this fucking thing.
Yeah, but this one it's so strange that you just have to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Alright, we also see very, very briefly just the slightest glimpse of the Temerian ship.
Very plain.
Our good friend Captain Dathon's ship. Very plain looking chair. All we can really see is the back of it, and it just looks like
A chair.
a chair.
Yeah, really not a lot of detail.
Staples.
Yeah. But one of my favorites
yeah.
is when we go over onto Tin Man.
He makes a chair.
The Tin Man creature, whatever critter that thing was, forms a chair out of itself for the Betazoid fellow, whose name I've forgotten.
Yeah.
And then he gets to sit in it.
Yeah. I mean, It doesn't look like much, but it was made specifically for him, which means for him, it's the most comfortable chair in the fucking universe.
Even comfier than that Romulan chair.
Yeah, it came with his ass groove already in it.
Wow.
Might also have a massager.
Ooh.
Yeah, so
Now it's
one was kinda
organic,
fun.
so it can probably just undulate under him.
Oh, that's weird. It's like
Yeah.
getting licked
Ugh.
from the inside.
No.
Couldn't get a really good screenshot of this one, but on the Vidiian shuttle, I think this is also in Birthright. That's right. Might be.
It kind of reminds me...
Birthright is the one with the Vidiian.
Kind of reminds me of the tall chairs in the Millennium Falcon that are in, like, the second row. Like, the first row are very short, very plain brown chairs, but behind him, I think Luke sits in one at one point. There's these very tall chairs with, like, metal sides and very minimal padding.
Yeah, it's a very interesting shape. You also see the chair that Worf got to sit in right next to him.
Yeah, which is more normal.
And if this is the Vidiian ship from Birthright, then the other Vidiian ship might have been a different Vidiian ship. I've lost track of which Vidiian ship is right. Anyway, this Vidiian ship. You get to see a weird back to the chair. Last but not least, in Gambit, we see Arctis Baran's Raider, the Fortune, and almost the entire episode long, they just stand in front of this chair. They almost never sit in this chair, and it's probably because it's too short for the control panel, which strikes me as a bad move and bad design.
Yeah.
They even put it up on like a little pedestal. They could have just made that pedestal a little taller.
They could have probably just raised it up somehow, yeah. But my favorite thing about this chair is you'll notice when our street rat friend at the side here is sitting in it, and then when he gets up, the little seat flaps. The little seat kind of pivots.
Yeah.
Oh, like a theater chair.
But the wrong way, because it means it's always trying to dump you out of itself.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
it's
I
true.
hate that. I thought, yeah.
Yeah, that's probably why they're not sitting in it, because you have to sit all the way back in it, or else you get flopped out.
I wonder that they can't have made that. What is that from, I wonder? Like, what was it and what's its original use and intention?
Honestly, it looks like a piece of exercise equipment to me. It looks like it's off of like a Nautilus machine.
Oh, yeah. That could be.
Oh man, maybe it's off a rower or something.
I don't know. It's got, and like I noticed it's got like this little mesh bit at on the back there. It's kind of
I missed
a
that.
cool little touch.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I like that.
But
Because you
the
can see through it.
Yeah, but the interesting thing is, and whoever designed this chair was not thinking that they're designing for TV, because it's got that moire pattern going on where you can like see like those stripes, which are artifacts of the resolution of the cameras.
Oh, okay, I see. Interesting.
Well, that's cool. So I'm going to break it there because this has already taken pretty long to get through these, and also because I haven't done all of Deep Space Nine yet.
Well, it's probably, if there's going to be a fair few, it might be there.
We actually do see a lot of other ships in that show, whereas in this one, especially in TOS, they save a lot of money by not ever showing anything.
Yeah.
Or like, Ferengi ships where they only show you against a bleached out white background and things like that.
I got a bleached
out
white back.
I knew you were going to do it. I was like, no, we're bleaching things out again.
Oh,
Guys, you're dealing with children. I really thought that you knew this at this point.
This is why I've been saying all episode long, trank the children.
It was just so easy because we'd forgotten that, when it's remote, you two don't feed off each other quite so powerfully.
They do. They really do.
We
Yeah,
do.
so next week, more chairs.
Woo!
And then I think we're going to stop because we haven't seen most of the rest of the show yet. Because now, whenever I watch episodes, now I'm just noticing chairs. in every single scene. It's like, that's a cool chair.
You've gone chair mad.
A little bit. But yeah, so
Chair
look
fan.
forward to that next week.
Along with what episodes?
Oh my, new episodes. New episodes of Voyager. This week on UPN. Yeah, next week make sure to check in with us. We'll be back with episodes The Thaw and Tuvix. A very famous
Oh
week.
shit, Tuvix?
Fuck. We made
Tuvix
it
is
to
very
Tuvix.
early, yeah.
Revix.
Oh shit. It'll be interesting to see that episode outside of the memes for the first time since I was, the 96? So I was like,
It holds
12.
up. It holds up.
oh, good.
It'll be a good discussion. I don't know if we can add more to the Tuvix discussion that hasn't been said already, but we're gonna damn well try.
Well, if we're lucky, we'll all fall, at least some of us will fall in different directions and we can argue about who's right.
I'm right. Yeah, so check that out next week. Make sure that you're following us on the Tumblr where you can see all these chairs. You can also catch up on the rest of our blog activities. We have lots of different content things where we've looked at uniforms and movie posters and all kinds of stuff in the past couple of weeks that are a lot of fun. So make sure to be following us there. Follow us on the Facebook. Follow us on the Twitter. Follow us on SoundCloud or whatever your favorite podcasty thing is. As long as you can listen to us, we're really happy to have you. So yeah, we're going to see you next week. This has been a joy. What the fuck was that?
I don't know, I'm keeping it in.
Wow. No, there were children in this episode. It's been a traumatic incident. This has been
But here's the thing. Both episodes feature children dying, so there is a silver lining.
Yikes.
Wowzers.
Thank you, Jake. This has been Ames.
This has been Caitlin.
This has been Jake.
And this is Chris from a different timeline.
Quick, kill him!
Quick self-destruct!
Oh, God, it's everywhere.